You're standing in a line that stretches 4 blocks. People are holding printouts. Some are holding their phones face down. Some aren't holding anything at all because they've already figured it out. The man in front of you turns around. There's a paper in his hand. There's a date on the paper. It's today. He isn't crying. He isn't screaming. He's just standing there, holding his place in line because he doesn't know what else to do with his body anymore. You look at him and you think about one thing only: your date. But here's the thing. The most dangerous part of the day, everyone learned when they die, hasn't even started yet. Let's go back. Year, you wake up 9 minutes before your alarm. An ordinary morning, coffee, cold floor. You wipe the fog off the bathroom mirror with your palm, and for a second you see your own face in the smeared streak. And in that second, you know the date. You don't read it. Nobody tells it to you. It's just there in your head. The same way you know your own height. The same way you know how old you are. It was always there. You just noticed it for the first time. The 29th, 11 days from now. You stand there and wait for it to pass, the way a strange half-asleep thought passes. It doesn't pass. The first thing you do is grab your phone to check whether you're losing your mind. The internet is already down. Not slow. Down. You walk into the kitchen. Your daughter is sitting at the table, not eating. She's 12. She's staring at one spot on the wall, and you understand immediately that she knows hers too. You open your mouth to ask, and you close it. Slash. You drive to work because you can't think of anything better to do. Half the cars on the road are sitting still with their headlights on and their doors open. People are inside talking on the phone or not talking. The line at the gas station is longer than anything you've seen in your life. Nobody's fighting. Nobody has the energy for it. Half the desks in the office are empty. The people who came in are sitting there pretending to work. Your boss steps out and says today is a normal working day. Says the information hasn't been confirmed. Says panic does more damage than any news. He's lying. You can tell his date is far away because he's already somewhere else. He looks at all of you the way people look at someone they don't plan on doing business with again. Your co-worker Irene walks between the desks, asking everyone the same question. How long? Nobody answers. She answers first. She says it loud so everyone hears. 8 months. And this is the part you'll remember for the rest of your life. People start moving away from her. Not roughly, not obviously, just a little. A chair slides back 2 inches. Someone turns toward their monitor. Irene is still smiling. She hasn't realized yet what she just did to herself. By lunch, there's a word. You don't know who invented it. It's just everywhere at once. Shorts. That's what they call people with less than a month. 11 days. You don't tell anyone. You go to the bathroom, lock yourself in a stall, and count on your fingers like a child. The 29th. Today is the 18th. 11. You count 3 times because you desperately want to be wrong. You're not wrong. And then the first practical thought of the day arrives. Alone. You could walk into a bank right now and take everything they'll give you. You will never pay it back. The money stays with your daughter. It's theft. It's a disgusting thing to do. It's the only thing you can actually do for her in 11 days. You leave the office and walk toward the bank. You don't make it. By the time you turn onto the street with the branch, there are already men in uniform standing at the doors. Lending is suspended for everyone, nationwide. In 2 hours, somebody upstairs did the exact same math you did. You stand on the sidewalk, and this is the first moment all day you're actually afraid, not of dying, of how fast the system thinks. By evening, it isn't the world that breaks. It's the rules. Insurance companies stop paying out. Every claim just became predictable, and nobody insures the predictable. Employers start asking for dates. It's illegal. It's also phrased very gently and very reasonably. We can't invest training in someone who won't finish out the year. You understand, and you do understand. That's the worst part. You understand they shut down the airports, not because of panic. Because somebody counted how many pilots had dates inside that week and couldn't explain the number to his supervisor. Hospitals fill up, but the people coming in aren't sick. They're people with far dates. They came to test whether this works in reverse. They want to know if it can be beaten. They cut their arms. They jump off low roofs. They swallow things nobody should swallow, and they all survive. Every one of them. And that breaks the last thing anybody was holding on to. Because now it's obvious, if your date is far away, nothing can touch you. You're untouchable. And if your date is close, you're just an obstacle everyone has already written off. By nightfall, there are stores that don't let shorts in. Nobody puts up a sign. The door just doesn't open. On the third day, you hear about the house. People talk about it quietly. An old hotel on the edge of town. They take in shorts, food, a bed, quiet, hot water, and nobody asks your date because in there, everyone's date is equally bad. You go because you haven't been allowed inside a grocery store in 2 days. A man named Arthur meets you at the door. He's in his 50s, calm, warm. He shakes your hand and holds it a second longer than necessary, and somehow that makes everything easier. He shows you a room. He shows you the dining hall. He shows you the courtyard where people sit on plastic chairs and just look at the sky, and nobody bothers them. He says that in here, you can spend your days as a human being. And here's the thing, it really is good in there. It's too good. The first night, you sleep better than you have in a month. The second night, you notice the room across the hall is empty. Her name was Teresa. Her date was the 6th. You know that for certain because you talked in the courtyard and she laughed about being lucky she still had almost 2 weeks. They took her out on the 3rd. You ask Arthur. He answers calmly and immediately. He says she took a turn and they drove her to a hospital. You nod. That night, you walk into his office because the door happens to be unlocked, and Arthur almost certainly knows that. There's a notebook on the desk. Inside is a list, names, dates, and next to every name, a second date, written in pencil. A different one, earlier, Teresa, the 6th. Next to it, the 3rd. You keep turning pages and you find yourself. The 29th. Next to it, nothing yet. An empty space where you haven't been decided. You hear footsteps. Arthur walks in and doesn't startle. He sits down across from you and says he's glad you found it on your own. And then he explains. He doesn't kill people. That isn't what he calls it. He frees up space. He says the country is running out of food. He says every can eaten by a man with 4 days left is a cannot eaten by a man with 40 years. He says somebody has to do the counting. He says if nobody counts, everybody dies. His own date is 41 years out. He mentions it without pride. Just a fact that makes him qualified for the job. And he isn't lying. Not in a single sentence. He looks at you and tells you you're a good one, that you can see the whole picture, that he needs someone who can do arithmetic without falling apart. And he offers you the notebook. Interessant. Count your options. 1. You leave. Right now, tonight. And you spend your last 8 days on the streets of a city where shorts aren't allowed in stores, pharmacies, or buses. 2. You stay and keep your mouth shut. You eat his food. You sleep in his bed, and every morning you check which room went empty. 3. You tell everyone. You walk into that courtyard, and you tell those people they're being moved up. Except half of them have dates inside the week, and they stopped caring days ago. And the other half won't believe you because Arthur is the only person who's given them a hot meal in 3 days. And there's a fourth option you're trying not to think about. You take the notebook because the man who keeps the list never ends up on the list. You sit in that office for a very long time, looking at the empty space next to your own name. Then you stand up and you walk out. And you realize you didn't decide that because you're a good person. You decided it because you remembered your daughter sitting at the table, not eating. You walk home because buses don't take people like you anymore. 20 miles. You walk all night and half the next day. On the way, you see what the country turned into in 1 week. Houses with every light burning until morning. Those are the far dates. They're not afraid of dying. They're afraid somebody will come check their number. And dark neighborhoods where the shorts live. It's quiet there. Almost nothing happens there anymore. Somebody spray-painted a fence. Not a slogan, just a number. You reach your building on the 28th. 1 day before, your daughter opens the door and doesn't ask anything. You sit in the kitchen all evening. You don't tell her about tomorrow. She doesn't tell you her date. You both act like it's an ordinary evening, and you almost pull it off. At midnight, you don't go to bed. You sit in a chair facing the window, and you wait. Nothing happens. An hour passes. 2. Morning. Afternoon. You're still in the same chair, and you're more frightened now than you were all night. because you don't know what to do with a body that was supposed to end and didn't. By evening, the radio gives a number. Of everyone whose date fell inside that week, more than half are still alive. And that's when it lands. The dates were real. They were just dates belonging to a world that doesn't exist anymore. You were supposed to be hit by a car on a road they closed on day 2. Someone was supposed to die in a plane that never took off. Someone was supposed to die in a hospital the ambulance never reached, so they stayed home and lived, knowing it broke it. Everyone found out, everyone changed what they did, and the future stopped adding up. Nobody knows what the dates mean now. You step onto the balcony and look at the city, and you understand the real problem. The lists are still there. // The stores that stopped letting shorts in are still not letting them in. The employers who started asking for dates are still asking. Arthur's notebook didn't go anywhere, and there are probably thousands of notebooks like it. The world sorted people into useful and disposable in 9 days. And now that it turns out there was never anything to sort by, nobody is in a hurry to sort them back. Your daughter comes out onto the balcony and stands next to you. She says she's ready to tell you her date. You look at her and you shake your head. You spent your whole life not knowing how much time you had. For one day, you knew, and it was the worst day of your life. Now you don't know again. Nobody does. The only difference is that you've already been counted, and somebody is still keeping the list.